Hello viewers, we want to look at income statement, which is one of the financial statements. It is prepared at the end of the trading period to find out or determine the gross profit or net profit or loss of the business in a given period of time. It has two accounts in one. It has a trading account and a profit and loss account. The trading account is the one that will determine the gross profit of the business. Then the profit and loss account is the one that determines the net profit of the business. So the combination of the two accounts gives us what we call the income statement. Now, I've just tried to illustrate something on the board here, that the process of trading involves buying and selling of either good or a service. Because it is a process, here we are using a two-sided format. So on one side it is buying, on the other side it is selling. So when the goods sold are called sales. So instances where I want to get to know the actual goods sold and not returned, I have to subtract sales less returns inwards. Those are sales returns. For me to be able to get the actual amount of money got from goods sold. So that amount of money is what we call net sales. Those are net sales. So net sales will just be sales less sales returns to get net sales. So the first column here is for subtraction, then the next one is for the actual value. So this is the value for sales minus the sales returns, you get the net sales. Don't include the minus symbol here. This word less is enough, less sales returns. So you get, and then you shall, when you underline here, it tells us that you are either adding or subtracting. So this is our value for net sales. This side here, of where you see that the word selling, it could be that the side used to determine the selling price, and this side could be the side where you determine the buying price. So this value here, net sales, can also be called selling price, or can also be called sales if we do not have the returns of sales. Remember, we are doing this to know, want to determine, is their business making profits or losses? So for you to be able to determine the profits or losses of the business, you need to start by identifying, did the business sell? If yes, how much income was got from sales? So that is the selling price. Then we also need to know how much was used to make those goods that were sold. So that one is the buying price. So buying price, now we have assumed in this illustration that the business has been operating. It had some already existing stock before this new trading period. That previous closing stock is what we refer to as opening stock. Remember, we're looking at, I need to determine the buying price for this trading period. How much was used or how much was invested in this amount of money? How much was used to generate this amount of money before? So we have opening stock on this side. So we're supposed to add the value for the new stock. The value for the new stock, which I'm calling, here we are labeling it as net purchases. Because if previously you had opening stock, that was stock that remained in the previous period. Now this trading period, you go and buy new stock to add on the already existing stock. Now that stock is what we are calling net purchases, but it is the value for purchases. Why net? Because it has other identities or other elements that are added, or they are going to be subtracted, as we're going to be seeing. So when you go to buy, the value for the actual value for the goods is what we call purchases. The actual value for the goods bought for resale, those are purchases. However, those goods are not going to be, they're not just going to be transported in air or without using any means of transport. So that payment given to the means of transport is what we call the carriage inwards. At times, you can give you a number and it has somewhere where this person paid a wage to someone carrying the goods on top of his head or using wheelbarrow, all those identities. So, for this illustration, I've just chosen only the carriage inwards, which is just the transport used to transport goods bought for resale. Those are purchases. So you add them onto the purchases. Why? Imagine a scenario where you're buying a pair of shoes, 20,000, and then you go and put in transport of 10,000, but you want to sell that particular shoe. If you sell it 25,000 without including the transport, you'll be making losses. So it is important before you sell, find out how much money has been used in making that product. That's why we are saying you need to first add the purchases, then add the transport if it is there. So purchases, add carriage inwards. Then the value that you get, you can subtract the sales. You can subtract the return outwards in case you bought goods and then you return them back to the wholesaler or to the producer. The amount of money that you want to get is what we call the net purchases. Remember here I said opening stock, I put the value in the second column. Add net purchases. I didn't add it there directly because I did not have it. I had to first look for net purchases. How to get net purchases? Purchases, add carriage inwards, this is the value, less return outwards, then you get the net purchases. After there, you add, remember the previous value the net purchases, it is opening stock. So opening stock plus net purchases, you get cost of goods offered for sale or cost of goods available for sale. Just look at this scenario. There is a bit of confusing cost of goods offered for sale and cost of goods sold. Cost of goods offered for sale, just look at this illustration that you may have remained with two furniture, that is maybe a business dealing in furniture. You remain with two furniture, that was opening stock. That is opening stock for this trading period. And then you go and buy 20 more furniture. So the total will be 22. That's 22, the value for the 22 furniture is what we call cost of goods offered for sale or cost of goods available for sale. Remember, these goods have not yet been sold. It is just the total of those goods available for sale. Now, after some time, the trading process continues, then at the end, you may remain with some closing stock. So you find that if you had 22 furniture, now they sold 16. So we expect maybe 22 minus 16 as the remainder. So that remainder is what we call closing stock. When I subtract it, as an entrepreneur, you do not need to ask how many furniture were sold. By just recognizing the closing stock, I can tell how many furniture was sold. So when you subtract closing stock, you get to know the cost of those goods that were sold. Now that one we call it cost of sales or cost of goods sold. That is the cost of the goods sold. It is different from how much was got from those goods that were sold. Just imagine the furniture could have costed 20,000. but you sell it at 25,000. Or it costed you 20,000, but you sell it at 15,000. Those are variations. You are saying the cost of goods sold is different from the net sales, or the sales, or the income received from the goods sold. Now, after getting the cost of sales, which at some time you may look at it as a buying price, which was the cost which was used to buy those materials, or that you put in as an entrepreneur to ensure that those goods are made well. So all those costs are catered for in there. So when you subtract, when you compare cost of sales, which is, I will equate it to buying price or the cost price. When you compare cost of sales and the net sales, that is the amount of money which was invested in buying those goods versus the amount of money that has been generated from the goods, we shall get to know whether the business is making a profit or loss. However, that profit is what we call gross. Gross, either loss or a profit. Why gross? Because it consists of some amount of money that does not belong to the entrepreneur. We shall need to first subtract expenses to get the actual amount of money that belongs to the entrepreneur or the owner of the business. But in most cases, business, we see businesses, someone invests 10,000, they get 15, they say, the business is doing well. I've made a profit of 5,000. That's 5,000 is gross profit. Why gross? It consists of some amount of money that does not belong to the entrepreneur, where we need to first subtract things like taxes and other expenses like maybe salaries and wages, because you didn't work alone, there were other people. Maybe you didn't operate the machines alone, you used the electricity. So all those ingredients have to be catered for very well. So you get net sales minus cost of sales. In case net sales is bigger than cost of sales, that's a gross profit. That was a good success. In case cost of sales is bigger than net sales, that is a loss for the business. So with this illustration, this is just a T format. But in most cases, remember our target is to look at the income statement, where the trading account and the profit and loss account is combined. Now, if I want to combine it using a vertical format, I will change this information, start from this side, if you see this arrow, start from this information where there is sales, then move this side. So you start from your right, write the information on your right to the information on the left, as we're going to be seeing this illustration. So I wrote the title of this particular business, maybe send me income statement for the period ended. Remember, in our previous sessions, we said make sure that the title has 3 lines. The first line, name of the business. The second one, the document you prepared. That's the income statement. The next line, the period in which you prepare this statement. So if we have particulars, amount, do not forget the units. So here we started with the sales, or determining the net sales. So we have sales, less sales returns. Those 2 figures are written in the second column. When you less means subtract. So when you subtract, you get net sales. So the figure for net sales is the one in the 3rd column. This net sales, remember, it is now this information is complete, so we go back to this side where we started the opening stock. So, but what is the first word there is the cost of sales. Net sales, less cost of sales. So I'll say net sales, less cost of sales. Now you do not have cost of sales. But you need to ask yourself, how do you get cost of sales? Cost of sales is got by adding opening stock. You put the second column, Then add net purchases. Net purchases, you don't have it, so you underline it. How do you get net purchases? We have purchases. The first column, add current ones. The first column you add, you don't put a plus symbol, the lines indicate whether you adding or subtracting. But make sure that the words here are written very well. Then you get a value there, then you subtract, less return outwards. Like we saw here. We had purchases, add current ones, less return outwards. So the value that you're going to get is what we call net purchases. Purchases, add current ones, less return outwards. Then you get net purchases. You put it in the second column. Because previously, from after getting net sales, we had to say less cost of sales. Then under cost of sales, you have opening stock in the second column. Then add net purchases. So we're supposed to add net purchases onto opening stock. That's why you have put net purchases in the second column. Not in the third column, because in the third column I need to put the value of cost of sales. So you underline here so that you either add or subtracting. But in this case, we are adding opening stock plus net purchases. When you add the opening stock plus net purchases, you get cost of goods offered for sale. Remember I said this does not indicate the cost of goods that are sold. It shows the cost of those goods that are there. When you go to that particular business or shop, those goods are there, but we are looking at the value for those goods available for sale. So we subtract closing stock, maybe at the end of the trading period. Remember, this is prepared at the end of the trading period. So less closing stock. The value that you get is cost of sales. I get the goods that have remained at the end of the trading period. I subtract them from the original cost of the total goods that were available. The answer that remains, or the remaining balance in terms of value, represents the cost of goods sold. So if I don't even need to ask how much was sold, what was the cost of those goods that were sold. I look at the remainders. I need to find out the original total cost. Then I get the difference. I'll get to know how many goods were sold in that particular business. So remember previously in our statement we have net sales. This is in the last column. This value is representing net sales, and then this one is representing cost of sales. And here we say less net sales, less cost of sales. Which means here we are subtracting. You subtract net sales minus cost of sales. The answer that you get there is what we call gross profit. Remember, somewhere in your lower classes, you say buying price, selling price minus buying price equals profit. But here we are saying that formula was communicated in trading account. And that profit is gross profit before the entrepreneur pays taxes and other expenses used in the business. So that profit this is how we get that profit. So take time. This is a lot. Most of the marks are scored within this. And most of the challenges are here. But when it comes to determining the profit which is supposed to be paid to the entrepreneur, that one you just add other incomes on gross profit, because the first income. Add other income. The business, they have maybe rentals, they have rental income. So you add other incomes on this. The moment you start adding other incomes, then you will start preparing profit and loss account, but vertical downwards. So where we have ended is gross. After the moment you get gross profit or gross loss, that's a trading account. The moment you get gross profit or gross loss, that's where the trading account ends. After getting gross profit, then you say add other incomes. The moment you start that, that is a profit and loss account. So we can add. Remember, we are preparing an income statement. It is a combination of the two: the trading account and the profit and loss account. So you can say add other incomes. Add other incomes. You underline them in case, because you don't have the total. So you will have rental income. At times you may wonder, how do I know that this is an income? This is a guideline. That look, the income has to be received or earned. For example, you can have discount received or commission received. So we could write commission received. That word is guides a lot, the word received. If it is rent received, discount received, it communicates that this was income to the business and was received. Of course, you may get other incomes that were supposed to be received but they were not earned. So we have, when you use the second column to get the total income, then you add it to the gross profit. When you add it to the gross profit, you get what we call gross income. You get gross what? Gross income. So because of space, I'm going to continue this step on this side, but remember it has to continue on, if you write on the page, it has to be on the full page. At least in most cases, it will take a full page. If it continues, then the information will be small, depending on the given number, as later on we shall see. So remember, we have three columns. One particular amounts in shillings. So we say you add gross profit, which is the third column, add other incomes, the total of other incomes in the third column, you get gross income. So gross income, we put it in the third column. Remember how to do gross income is totally different from gross profit. Gross profit is just income got from that business, which is involved in the selling and buying of goods and services. But the business may have other incomes got from maybe sale of land, sale of old furniture, maybe old furniture. The moment you see that income, you're supposed to add it there. So after getting to know the total income the business has, then you can start paying the expenses as an entrepreneur. So we say less operating expenses. Less operating expenses. Expenses include things like expenses are those items or costs incurred during the buying and selling of those goods. For example, you have to pay wages and salaries, you have to pay electricity, you have to pay insurance, transport, airtime, that is communication, and others, fuel costs. So we could cite examples of some of the costs incurred. Could be insurance, advertising, could maybe cite three of them, that is, and communication. So we're going to use the second column. This first column will be used for catering for adjustments. We shall be seeing that in our next presentation. How do you, in case there are adjustments or there are changes that need to be worked on, you're supposed to pay advertising costs, but you did not pay, or you paid money that belongs to the next period and you paid it in this period. How would you deal with such a transaction? So, for this case, I'm going to transfer this information to the second column because they are all only, there are no adjustments. We just introducing it. However, after getting to know the operating expenses, we need to cater for the loss of value of a fixed asset, which we call depreciation. So at times there are some costs that are incurred on repairing those fixed assets. Now those are repairs, but they are not. It's not the depreciation, unless you had set aside some money to cater for depreciation, which we call the provision. But for this case, we want to look at the loss that has been made as a result of loss of value in a fixed asset. Now that loss is added onto the expenses. So here we say add depreciation. Remember I said depreciation should be on fixed assets, and land does not depreciate. But other assets, computer, furniture, all those ones depreciate. So you could have maybe furniture. And maybe you have motor van. It's a loss. So you can just transfer the figures. Now remember, I'm only recording the value for depreciation, not the original cost for the assets. I'm only recording the value for depreciation. They will give you a number and you're supposed to look at the percentage that has been used, and then you calculate the depreciation, is the one that you're supposed to put in the income statement. So after then you add, you get the total operating expenses. Total operating expenses. So you add these other expenses plus depreciation, shall get the total operating expenses, put it in the third column. And when you look at the figure up, when you look at the total operating expenses, it finds a figure up called gross income. So gross income minus total operating expenses, we get what we call, you get a figure which is called net profit. Now this net profit is the amount of money that the entrepreneur is supposed to enjoy. It's an advice that as we are developing you accountants and entrepreneurs in the making, do not eat the business money, otherwise the business will collapse or die. Wait for your money. At times you make a loss, net loss, which means you're not supposed to withdraw anything in their business. But here we are emphasizing that you need to wait for the profits made by the business. The profits made by the business this time that you're supposed to ask for is the net profit. The gross profit that is made after selling, buying goods and selling items in the business, that gross profit consists of the amount of money that does not belong to you. So you keep waiting. Basically, this is an introduction or a simple brief illustration of the income statement. It's a combination of the trading profit and loss account, trading, and then profit and loss account. I say the trading account starts from the time when you're selling goods from the time goods are bought to the time when they are sold. Then you get the difference, you get the gross profit. After getting the gross profit, then you can add other incomes. So when you start adding other incomes, that's what it's called. That there you start to generate the net profit of the business. Add other incomes, subtract other expenses, those are operating expenses. Then add depreciations if they are there. Then you get the total operating expenses. When you get the difference between gross income minus operating expenses, the total, you get the net profit. And at times, in case you don't in case you don't have other incomes, it will be gross profit minus operating expenses to get a net profit of the business. Thank you so much for viewing this presentation. Hope it has been helpful. I'm waiting for your comments as we try to develop and train and sensitize and promote the culture of accounting. Businesses fear recording. That's why when you go to a business person, you ask for records, you will not find them there because you won't be able to prepare such statements. You need to look at the records. These records, you don't just look at the business. Then you say the business is doing well. I need to go down the records and see what is this business doing well using the records by looking at the net profit and then the balance sheet that we saw in our previous session. Thank you so much. I remain Seton Henry, a teacher of entrepreneurship education. Find me on our YouTube channels and subscribe. Thank you.